It's always the most difficult question to answer is who you are. And that was for a long time a question I tried to answer. Who is Sasha Rees? Is that only my name? Or it's something more behind that story of who really I am? But if I look a little deeper behind the name, would be a hidden little boy, sad, alone, abandoned, and trying to find his place under the sky in this world. And oftentimes the best place to land would be in the arms of the dog. Safe, quiet, place of acceptance, not judgmental, and peaceful. And everything starts from there. Who am I? Who is Sasha Rees? So it's a journey of 30 years trying to answer that question. But everything started to unfold one day when I actually realized that freedom of one lays between the boundaries of his destiny.
And hello everyone, welcome to Sasha Rees World and welcome to the new episode of this amazing podcast named Grooming with a Positive Mental Attitude. In today's episode is how to find your satisfaction in your job. So this topic is very important and actually it doesn't matter where you are at the moment. Do you like your job at all? Are you doing your part-time job, or your grooming is your full-time job, or you want to change your environment where you work, or you don't like it where you work and you want just to move on with something, with some decisions and everything? You know, when I was young, when I was like really young guy, I never made compromises on anything. So when I didn't like something, I moved on by cutting the throat to the existing circumstances that I want. A lot of time that was like burning the bridges. Sometimes it's very important to burn the bridges, so you cut away obstacles for your possible, coming back the safe place when you are facing the possible, change, the possible evolution of yours. And then it's good not to have a safe place to come back. But oftentimes, what doesn't happen in that road when we cut the cords and when we cut the throat of the existing challenges that we face, and we just kind of burn the bridge and just move on regardless, what we face is actually developing a positive mental attitude. So one of the very important things before we move on, we need to learn all the lessons that we are need to learn so we can actually move to a next step by evolving in it, rather than rather than running away from the existing challenges. And usually how the life operates, we're going to go in much bigger challenges the same. Maybe they won't come so fast or they won't come so obvious, but they're going to be bigger than the challenges we ran away from. So then if we want to change the job, the first thing should be known is actually why do we choose to be at the place where we are at the moment. So every single thing what we are living now is a present result of our past actions. And if we want to change anything, we need to change it now, using resources and sources we have present now so we can improve the future. And oftentimes, it's not running away from where we are, but finding a way to develop the positive mental attitude in a challenging situations and in a toxic environment. How are you going to do that? Why would you do that at all? A lot of schools, so to be like clear, the program Grooming with a Positive Mental Attitude, I developed through combining 30 years of my grooming industry experience, 25 years as a coach to the groomers, being a teacher and mentor to the also newborn groomers in the industry, as well as the people that are looking for the career change. So ones that are already established in the different field, but now want to skip the career from there and to move into other careers. And also the groomers already in the careers want to improve their life, but professional life, but as well as a family constellation therapist. I was studying this family constellation therapy. For example, like now this would be the eighth year. First, it was in order to conduct my own approach to my own healing of my own life, because the job, and we think that our success in a business is one thing, and our success in a family life is another thing, and our success in a spiritual life is another thing, and our success in a social life is another thing. No. All of those environments are governed by the same laws. And if any of those we use as a scapegoat, we're going to suffer even more on the ones that we are actually running away from. So I would never be able to discover the need of the positive mental attitude and how important is for one personality to shift into a positive mental attitude. So the world, what we see from there, it is not toxic at all, no matter which kind of environment we are in. So that is why we think that, oh, I don't speak to my father and I don't have a good relationship with my mother, but that's old story, that I fixed it already. And I think that by fixing it somehow, putting it under the carpet, going to the therapist over and over and over, and kind of forgive to your parents and using all kind of different techniques. I tried, I was there. And more what I gained from those experiences obviously were sometime involving more depression, more challenges, more, I did have a lot of challenging growing up. But until I didn't merge my own life through the prism of family constellation, putting my foundations to its source, the view of the life, and my own perception of the life was based on the wrong parameters. I didn't have a wrong perception. I did have a wrong perception of the life. I was thinking that I am bigger than the circumstances that I was going through. That was molding me, that was shaping me. So if you're gonna go, this is already like which episode? Like 13th? 12? Which one? 15th. Yeah, 15th. We are going already to is it the 15th? No, they are like no, it's 15th. How find 15th episode already. So if you didn't watch them, I encourage you to start one by one. Listen the new ones, but also take a time and a week, come and go back and repeat some of the rest, because the podcast topics evolve up to this point. So combining all of this knowledge together with the industry experience, I was able to develop this program. And the program is actually based on the positive mental attitude that is very important to be developed in order for us to understand the place where we are at the moment and how to use it to be our stepping stone to the future we really want to enjoy. So the very important thing is not to run away from the challenges we face now. Wherever you are, it's the most important place for your life at the moment. No matter are you in a good or toxic relationship with your people, co-workers, with your boss, how do you deal with your clients? Are you like in the middle of the living frustration of everyday job, or you are dreaming how to explore as an entrepreneur? It doesn't matter. Before you move on, you need to find a way to make it perfect where you stand. And from there, you are just about to unfold the future that's going to be the most amazing one, because it will be molded by new me or new you. So that's the most important. Who is a true me? And then the true me is to be discovered. And we are never so close to find who really true I is, really true me, true I-ness is, until we do not face walls and boundaries and temporary defeats from a lot of places. And especially if it's in the workplace, work habit, work environment, it's an easiest to solve. But you can't solve it if the picture is not combining entire constellation, entire system, if the picture is not holistic to the approach of, am I satisfied? Am I satisfied in my job? Or through my job, I'm trying to heal, or I'm trying to do something that I think can help me forget or run away from the other things. That is how I ended up in the grooming industry. By being betrayed, by being hurt, by being molested, by being bullied from people. That is how I ended up next to the dogs. So the grooming industry was my scapegoat. But then what I was doing is I was using and abusing the industry to run away from my own problems. So I didn't went there because I went there because initially I was hurt here. So in order to survive, I used the environment to help myself. And that had a tremendous impact in my life later on by taking advantage on me, because I used the industry to save myself, and later on industry used me to pay it back. So think about everything we kind of reap in our life now is something we sow in the past. So in order not to repeat over and over and over the same circle of life, something new is to be done. And you don't need to wait another day to do that. You can do it here and now with the sources, resources, and everything that you have available to your attention and use now. So what is the first thing? Wherever you are, make it be your job. No matter are you an assistant, employer, baiter, stylist, whatever, if you want to, you are thinking about to moving away from the job because it's toxic, it's not good, you don't feel well, you don't feel nothing, you feel pressured. It's time to look at that position as a possibility. How you can find a possibility there and where to find the possibilities in that kind of environment, it's unknown. But you can put yourself in the mental state that you will be able to look for the answers and finally recognize them. So as you remember that do you have a problem? It's great, because by fixing a problem, you're gonna grow. So if we are in a toxic environment, by fixing that problem, not changing the others, but changing our perception of the others, that we would know that no one does have nothing against us. What they have is a negative mental attitude that doesn't need to confront with ours if we're going to develop the positive first. Then we're going to, by developing a positive mental attitude towards the ones that have a negative mental attitude, you'll slowly start feeling empathy for them. You're going to slowly start feeling sorry for them. And you're going to slowly develop a way that you're going to understand that their perception of the life coming from the different than yours. And that's why they are they're raised in the negative mental attitude by their parents, by environment, by the school, by circumstances. So they are the product. And as we are the product as well. So once we are the product that we don't like, so we don't get along with our coworkers, the only thing to do is start looking solutions where the problem is. So then fix the problem, stop feeling negative emotions toward your current job, and look, miracle happens. What's gonna happen then, usually, what's gonna come with that change is a new possibility. It's gonna either be a way for you to open your own shop, to move to the better position, to be, to get a raise, to get promotions, whatever. But first things are to be done previous. So how you start doing from there is the first thing is you need to start having a satisfaction by understanding that this place where the toxic environment is your place to develop the positive mental attitude. It's easier because the contrast is too high. So when you are in the negative mental atmosphere of the people, you need to keep yourself very strongly, not bounded, but you need to, what? Centered. Yeah, you need to focus yourself inward. So you need to focus yourself to be centered. And from center of your being, you're going to see the world with a different perception without being involved in their drama. How to do that? So first, develop a habit of going extra mile. So what's that? Going extra mile is very important. Do more than you are paid for. By how? Coming earlier, not when the boss tells you come at 7, you open at 6. When the last client goes out from your place at 6 and the boss expects you to finish everything by 7, add an extra more hour there. Don't ask to be paid for something. Do something more than your job is requiring you to do. And then watch the God coming back and pay you for those extra hours that you spend there. Because there is no free lunch in the nature. And all of our drama in life is guided by the same laws that govern spring into the summer into autumn, and the autumn into a winter, and the circle of the life, and the day and night, and the black and white. All of those laws apply everywhere. In every single relationship we have, we have a great relationship with the dogs. Yet somehow we fail to use the same structure of the relationship and implement the same thing into the relationship with the people. So that cannot be an excuse that I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert too. But by developing and working on my understanding of my introvertness, and by me knowing that I had a great connection with the dog, the question becomes like why I was not able to use those relationship knowledge that I have and just transform them from the relationship between a dog and a man, me, into a relationship between me and another person. Replace the dog with a person and act accordingly the same. Not expecting that the dog gonna love you first and then you're gonna repay him. No, the dogs are getting from us everything they want because they are giving us unconditionally. So in order for me to become a friend to other people and develop a relationship with them, in order to become a friend as my dog is to me, I need to go out and give first. And that is how entire this project of the positive mental attitude came to a fruition. It's a series of the podcast, it's a book, it's a program. So it's a kind of like giving and creating all of this together with you. By making an extra mile of doing all of this preparation and doing all of these recordings and doing all of that, structuring, and then doing all of that research in order to make it happen and make it appear live in front of you. Not that I expect here nothing, rather than sorting the knowledge. So it's a kind of mutual interaction. I'm not preaching here. I'm not a priest preaching anything here. It's just kind of combining a lot of different views of the life that I experienced and that changed me from the one that wanting to kill himself because I was bullied. No, I survived that next to the dogs. Then I somehow turned into an industry leader by being one that wins the shows and handle the most expensive dogs in the world from one country to the other, from one continent to the other, slowly looking for those prices that I was, putting the dogs on the pedestal of trophies because that's how valuable they were in my life. They saved me. So I was trying to pay back somehow. So I was thinking it's a trophy that I need to win somewhere. So that's kind of the trophy to a dog. So I'm giving a trophy. That was very interesting to see that dynamism that happens there, because that's what was driving force for me, even though I hated those dog shows. I hated them. But every single time I came and I won, I was re-questioning, oh, you are doing this great. You are very successful there, but maybe you should just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. I was waiting in the Best in Show lineup to get in. I knew I gonna win the Best in Show because the structure of the judges was so nice and the dog was great. So when you have a great dog, it doesn't matter who gonna win. It's not about at some point when you enter that high level of greatness, the dogs, the lineup of 10 or 5, no matter where you kind of show your dogs, the matter of the judge which one going to be picked, it's just a matter of taste. And sometimes the matter of taste is I prefer this breed over the other breed, but sometimes is just a lobbying structure that the judges are around to award the best performed dog together with the handler. So oftentimes I knew that my time is coming, and when I enter the next Best in Show ring, out from the group, and if I'm good for the breed, I'm great for the group, and I have a wonderful Best in Show judge, I'm lined up for the winner, so to win, and like 99% I was able to know that up front, not because I went politicized anything there, but it was just a persistent presence. And knowing my job. And then at one point I was starting to question myself, what I'm doing here. Where is the dog? Where is the dog in the entire picture? So slowly I started to question that, and then I moved into this philosophical man-people people-dog relationship, and now that's kind of getting into another dimension. But I think everything of that is useful. Down that road I become a therapist. The family constellation facilitator, therapist that helps people combine things that you would never think are connected to the success of yours, connection with the money, connection with everything. How I was able to overcome all of that is somehow, unknowingly, I did the right thing, developing the positive mental attitude in the toxic environment. That was the only way to escape. And by developing, and then later on, by doing extra mile, going and doing more than be paid for, I overcome a time when I was doing less than I was charging for. So I was developing this la la land in my mind. So I was thinking, oh my God, this is what you need to do. You need to put the price tag, and then you just, it's important that you be expensive, and then somehow that's gonna push you in order to be great. And then because you're gonna be selling you for the high price, and then you need to provide some service for that price. But then sometimes the market gonna just attract you to the position where you're gonna be offering a great experience, and you're gonna just overcharge it because there is a place for that. There is a market for that. But then the life comes back, knocks to your door, and shows you a receipt, and says, okay, this is what you overcharged to the people. This is what you didn't deliver to the people. This is what you overpromised and underdelivered. This is what you was going after because you was thinking it's enough just to put an expensive price tag at yourself. So I was slowly overcoming that mental attitude where I was thinking that I'm the big one and all the rest of the world is a small one. And where I was thinking that the only way to prove how great I am is to put a price tag, to make myself be expensive. That's what I see a lot of industry, in this grooming world, the grooming industry, a lot of people are thinking how to raise the prices, how should I you should charge what you're worth of. What I'm worth of. How would I feel what my worth is? And then you go there and you calculate. Oh, I need to pay my gas like this, my tank like this, my food like that, my expenses to operate is like this, and everything. When you put, it's not your worth, it's worth of your business. It's how much money you need to operate the business, and how much money you need to pay yourself a check. That's what you are calculating. It's nothing to do with your worth. Worth, is that a word? It's nothing to do with your worth. But how much money we're going to have, we already covered that. How much money I have today, it's outer expression of my inner feelings of my worth. You can't have a high price for your services if you do not value yourself. And you do not value yourself before you start respecting yourself. And you can't respect yourself until you do not start respecting others first. And you can't respect others if there is no role model to respect others. So before you can even respect the others, so you get a mirroring of respect yourself, you need to start respecting your parents first. And that was like, oh, don't go there. Like, I don't want to talk to my father because he was so tough to me. And then he said, yeah, that's exactly where the family constellation takes us. Honey, you wouldn't have your life if you wouldn't have the father. So none of these opportunities would be available to me if they ever would be for him. And no, now it's not enough for me that I have a life to operate and take it wherever I choose to. But I go back and I say, oh my God, you was always drunk, and he was beating me, and he was abusing me emotionally and physically, and everything of that. I can take and write the stories about how far, how long, how much I was accusing my father for everything wrong that was going in my life until I didn't settle the life. And I say, okay, thank you for that. Not that you acted towards me like that. No, that's going to be, it's going to be judged by someone someday, and then there will be some price or won't be some price to pay for that. But it's not me who need to, don't judge, otherwise you're going to be judged by the same principles we used on someone. And I must be honest, when I got my son, and the relationship that I got, my perception of which kind of father I was to my son, it's completely out from the range asking my son which kind of father I was. And that's exactly my son. It's exactly towards me where I was towards my father. And I was not an abusive, but I was never present, always on a show, away from home. And then what? Maybe, you would say, oh, you was never present because you was running away, trying to have, running away from home, being a workaholic, trying to make money, trying to have the better than the life, but you was not present. My father was not present in my life either. So you always end up in some kind of repeating the story over and over and over until you do not break the cords and finally able to move on. So there is no me until there is no really me. So that would be the first step. To develop the positive mental attitude in the toxic environment. So that would be how I would develop in a toxic environment. I would develop any positive mental attitude in any toxic environment. Change the environment and then see yourself changing together with the environment. But we tried. Why did you ended up at this job that you hate? And look the future, you're going to obviously find because you didn't like the previous job. You didn't like the 2 previous jobs again. You didn't like the environment you're coming from as well. So nothing changed. So why would we expect now that the new environment maybe this is maybe we didn't grow up in the grooming industry. Maybe we came from other grooming industry, from somewhere. We were maybe a nurse or a waiter or something else. Then why did we came here? Because we hate it there. So, and slowly what happens here is that we're going to create and we're going to end up in the same type of environment. To blame anyone else for not being good. But you know what we are repeating? Keep repeating the same drama in a relationship of our parents. No matter what you think about that, you need to, and that's what we say in the family constellation therapy. We said we are not judging the past. We are just observing what the past caused and created the circumstances that are evolving in today's result. And oftentimes you can find so much connection in between what I'm talking and what we are experiencing now in faraway traumas that are hidden, maybe forgotten, maybe, secrets to the family, but also we can experience as well the traumas and the life of our ancestors, 7 generations in the past that are coming finally to be solved. And the only way to solve those problems is to first experience them as some problem in life. Relationship, money, career, environment, whatever you're going to kind of choose to have. So how to find the satisfaction at the place where we are now? Developing the positive mental attitude. How are we going to do that? Force yourself to go extra mile. Not because you like it, no, but exactly because you don't like it. And because why? Because moving that direction gonna force us change. And then the change gonna force us to accept everyone the way they are. And that's again, the first way of you moving on would be to accept the others the way they are. Don't change. I was neurotic for years. I was anxious and depressed and selfish. Everyone kept telling me to change. I resented them and I agreed with them. And I wanted to change, but simply couldn't, no matter how hard I tried. What hurt the most was that, like the others, my best friend kept insisting that I change. So I felt powerless and trapped. Then one day he said to me, "Don't change. I love you just as you are." Those words were music to my ears. Don't change. Don't change. Don't change. I love you as you are. I relaxed. I came alive. And suddenly I changed. Now I know that I couldn't really change until I find someone who would love me, whether I change or not. And that's why we love our dogs so much, because that's what they keep repeating us every single time we meet them. Don't change. I love you as you are. But you know what? What's the first movement towards the real change? If you become a friend to your toxic friends around you, to tell them, don't change. I love you and I expect you as you are. Maybe you would be the first one to accept them. Maybe that's why they are toxic, because no one accepts them as they are. Everyone is looking at them, trying to change them. And they know they should change, but they simply can't. And what leads to the change is a simply act of respect and acceptance. That's why the toxic people are toxic, because no one accepts them. But the paradox of change comes through acceptance. And some power, some unknown source within them comes once we shift. And I gave you now the powerful tool to change the environment where we are at. Keep doing more that you are paid for. Everywhere where you can do that, keep giving, because you are not giving nothing you have, because we don't possess nothing. We came to this world and we're going to go away from this world with nothing. Everything that we use here, money we have, every material every material things that surrounds us is here to help us grow. And you know how I also I had a really tough conception about the money in my life, until actually maybe suddenly I had that poor mental attitude that everything was expensive. I'm sorry, and then I cannot afford nothing. But then I had a talk to one of my mentors. He said, like, there is a task, there is a significant task that you should do in a week to come, and maybe you should follow maybe this advice. You can take it in a week to come. We're gonna have this podcast actually on 2 weeks now, so you take it for as a so we won't see each other next Monday. We're gonna see each other in 2 Mondays, because I got a lot of inputs from you that you're giving me, that actually I'm giving you tasks that raises a lot of emotional, and you don't have time to run after me creating this podcasts on a 7-day basis. So kind of you need the time to digest, maybe rewatch them, and then do the homework or practice that can really help you grow. So what you need to do is actually every single time you are asked from someone to give money, so you don't give money if you are not asked, but if someone asks you, the homeless person, wherever you go, if someone asks you for the money, you have money ready for them, and then you give them the money. But the most important thing is that you tell them when you are giving money, you tell them thank you. You tell them thank you for asking, because that's the only way. The God told us, maybe they are the poor people in the world, so the rich people can take care about them. So the poor people can actually enrich the richness, because you don't need to think about, will he use it for for the another joint, or he gonna go and buy the liquor, or he gonna go and spend it for whatever reason. It's not your karma. You don't know what he gonna do. You don't know. Maybe it's a God himself. Maybe it's a Christ himself covered in such a person to approach you, to ask you, and then immediately when you give that money away, say thank you. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to give you money. So you are kind of putting my path of salvation be much more easier, so I can work more to give more. But never come and talk about that. I see a lot of things now. We have all of these crises in the world going on, and you have all of these people that are giving and supporting. But the most terrible thing is there, that you see a lot of companies using this as a marketing tool. Help quiet. Stay quiet when you help someone, and the God gonna award you publicly. So when you see someone that needs help them, and don't talk about that. Don't encourage others to do the same. Don't do it. The question why I'm telling this at this place here is because it's important for the practice of this week. That is how we're gonna do, by giving without waiting to be paid back. Because that's there is always a key: give and you're gonna get. And then you go out and you give in order to get. That's not the point. You give and you forgot you gave. Not to get back and to, oh my God, I was there for her when she needed me, and then I was always helping her, and then I didn't expect nothing, but is this how they are, giving me back, by pushing the knife in my back, and all kind of those things. We already heard a lot of those stories. I was myself telling them as well. When someone is hurting you, don't remind them that you was nice to them. Don't remind them. Help them more. They need help. The people with the negative mental attitude, the toxic people, need help. It's not your to help them in order to kind of go there and treat them and kind of, be their therapist. No. How you can help them? By accepting them and give them the right to be. That's the most important thing. And you're somehow blessed to be in a toxic environment, because the challenge of overcoming toxicity in the environment, it's not putting the boundaries. It's not making your heart go frozen so you can deal with those kind of, no, it's opposite. It's acceptance. And that's what can melt every frozen and steel heart in everyone. I love you as you are. I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to change you. I'm not here to make you think what I think and approve everything I say. No, not. It's not why we met. We met to grow. And the only thing to grow, for me, that's the most important thing, is how I grow out from the toxic relationship. Don't run away from there. As more the relationship is a toxic, the more power is needed to overcome that. But then the more heart is to be defrosted, so it's gonna defrost the heart of the other as well. Sometimes the physical movement would be necessary. Because now, if I'm talking about a physical environment, like where we work together, like a business environment. But what you do if that environment is within the family, as I had it? So my way to deal with that at age of 16 was to run away from home. But that was my lesson. And I ran away from home, but I didn't run away from the home itself. I was taking my home in my heart with me. And yeah, I was running away from home from my father, and I ran in the arm of my teacher that was 3 times worse than my father to me. But I stayed there until my class was done. And then later on, that environment, but what I was doing, I was really, by age of 16 and 17 when I was in the school, I was unconditionally, so I didn't know, I did it unconsciously. There was no chapters that I was reading and no recommendations to be done. I did it myself. She was so tough on me that I didn't know what to do. And I said, in order to make myself work here, I need to be the best. How should I be the best? I need to do everything she tells me and even more. So I should always find something to do. I would always find myself the job. When I was done doing everything, I was helping others to do their part. And when everyone was going home, I was staying there more extra to clean, to make it playful for the morning. And then in the morning I came first because I knew if you know that you have you can make it a perfectly clean shop in the evening, but if you had those Samoyeds and Huskies and the double coats breeds, when you come in the morning, like all of those snows will be all over the place. So sometime I knew that there's gonna be a snow in the morning of the hair all over the place, so I would come early. I would come first. 16 years old. I didn't know how to deal with the toxic environment that I was forced to be at. And then more I was doing, more she started to appreciate me. But I hated her. And that was actually my inner kind of something bigger was forcing me to put myself in the state of the positive mental attitude to survive. And in order to develop that positive mental attitude, I needed to create my environment there. And I needed to find my satisfaction in the job I was doing there. The only way to find it was to go extra mile. Do more than you are paid or asked for to do. And then what's the miracle happen? What would be the miracle? The new idea of where to move, how to, leave the place where you are at and move on nicely, not running away, higher position, the change of the toxic environment by someone being replaced. You never know what's going to happen. But in order to create the nice outcome of the toxic relationship, you need to give more through the positive mental attitude. And the positive mental attitude on the places where they are not are developed through going an extra mile. Going extra mile means do more than you are asked or paid for. Not because I told you. You need to develop it so it comes more spontaneous, that you're gonna find a spot where you're gonna feel yourself, that you're gonna dedicate yourself 120% to a current position and do the best you can do. And that will help you grow and overcome toxicity of all kind. So give the money to everyone that asks. Tell them thank you for asking. And thank you for helping me grow. Don't judge anyone. Because we don't know. We don't know what's the future of uncertainty brings to any one of us. That was a very nice story that it was a sad story, made me cry almost. When there was a homeless girl in in Florida. We had a lunch, and then everyone was complaining because she was stinky, and she was sitting there, and the other people were complaining that they couldn't eat. So the people from the shop came and called the police on her. So the police told her that she need to move away because it's a private property and the owners doesn't want her there. So I said, I won't come back to this store anymore. And we were living there like $1,000 a month. I said, I won't come here anymore because what you are doing now to the lady that was just sitting aside reading the book and obviously spent her money in that shop. They escorted her out because she didn't please other customers there, her presence. And I said, like, how do we know? I told to them, there were police was there, and then the guys were there. I said, why are you doing this? She said, we have complaints against her and things like that. And I said, but how do you know that some of us wouldn't be on her place in time to come? How do you know that somewhere, some of your relative doesn't going through the same experience? How do you know that? Not being aware of something doesn't mean that doesn't exist. So that was kind of sad story. That was sad story when I actually witnessed. And she was reading the book. When she was talking to the police, she sounded and acted very from the point of peace of mind and very strongly in tune with herself, explaining her story with a beautiful language. So you could hear a wonderful sound of the words coming out from her, divine, that didn't match her physical appearance. I didn't help anything more than I shared my thoughts with the guys there, with the owners of the restaurant and the police. But I was not asked to to help her. She didn't ask for help. That's very important thing. Don't go and don't underestimate people. Once they ask you to help, you help them more than they can expect. But you kind of don't do things you are not called to do in a way that you don't approach, oh, do you need help? In a way like that you're going to go out there and then create the circumstances where you're going to treat someone without really getting, not a blessing, it's a kind of authorization from the God to approach. So if someone brings you a dog and tell them, okay, if you charge $300 for the cut, give them a passion and give them a service of $400. It's much better than charging $500 and giving a service of $300. If someone asks you for $1, give him $5, but they ask you first. That's important. We need authorization. We need authorization, and being present into the field of business, it's already authorization of its own. So being an employer or creating an environment for the employers, it's already an authorization. But creating someone else, approaching someone else in order to help him because you think he needs your help, that's actually gonna come back to us. It's already a judgment. So you never call to do something you are not called. But if someone approach and ask for help, then give more than you are asked for, and do more than you are asked for to do, and do more than you are paid for to do. That's a very important portion of this task. So I think that this would be a great, I'm just done, thank you. I think that actually this would be a great place to stop. And that was all about your beautiful way of how you're gonna create and find the satisfaction at your current place. Don't forget, again, everything goes through development of the positive mental attitude, But how you're going to develop it in a toxic environment? Only by doing more than you are asked for or paid for. And that's how you're going to slowly, it won't happen overnight, but slowly, if you keep repeating it, going to create a dream opportunity, either with a new position or something going to change in a position you are at. So be the change you want to see in the world. Thank you so much. See you in 2 weeks, Monday. We're going to skip now because it's a wonderful weather outside. So if you are choosing to watch this live, I won't keep you away at 6 p.m. Eastern time anymore. So it will be 8 p.m. Eastern time starting from 2 weeks from now. Thank you so much for staying with me tonight. Enjoy, and see you in 15 days, Monday, on the new episode, Grooming with a Positive Mental Attitude. Thank you and good night.